Hey everyone, and welcome back to My Mind Mashups for another deep dive. Today we're going way back in time to explore lost civilizations and suppressed history.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
Yeah, it is. We were talking about those ancient sites that just don't quite fit with what we were told in school.
Right.
Like they make you question the timeline, and even like advanced technologies that seem to have just vanished.
Yeah.
And then there's always the possibility that some of history's biggest secrets have been deliberately, you know,
Hidden from us.
yeah, hidden. Like a giant historical cover-up. Get ready to have your minds blown as we investigate places like Göbekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, that place in Turkey, older than the pyramids,
Yeah.
older than Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And we're going to look at the mystery of Atlantis, too. That legendary island civilization.
Swallowed by the sea.
Exactly. It's going to be a wild ride.
Well, it's fascinating how these mysteries force us to really reconsider our assumptions about the past.
Right.
And how much we really know about the ingenuity of ancient cultures.
Exactly. Like, we think we're so advanced now, but what if they were way ahead of us in ways we can't even imagine?
Exactly.
Let's start with Göbekli Tepe. This place is seriously mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So imagine it's 12,000 years ago. Okay, humans are still figuring out agriculture. There's no pottery. Life is just getting started, right?
Right.
But in what's now Turkey, someone, or rather a whole society, is building this incredible complex.
With massive stone pillars.
Yeah, some of them weigh up to 20 tons.
Wow.
And they're decorated with intricate carvings of animals and these mysterious symbols.
Yeah, it's hard to overstate how much Göbekli Tepe challenges our traditional understanding of human development.
Right.
We used to think that settled societies and complex construction came after agriculture, not before.
Right, it's like they skipped a step.
They skipped a step.
Yeah.
This site suggests hunter-gatherer societies were capable of so much more than we thought.
It's crazy. It even predates the invention of pottery by thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
Like, can you imagine coordinating that kind of construction without even having the wheel? It boggles the mind. And get this, even more recent discoveries between 2015 and 2025 have revealed what archaeologists believe might be an astronomical calendar etched into one of the pillars.
Really? An astronomical calendar?
Yeah, talk about ahead of their time.
That is incredible. It makes you wonder if they were tracking the stars.
Right.
And had a very sophisticated grasp of astronomy long before we thought possible.
It's like, were we even paying attention in history class?
I know, it really makes you think. And then what about their social structure?
Right.
What kind of organization did they have to pull off something this big?
Yeah, were they a tight-knit community all working together? Or was there already some kind of hierarchy and leadership?
Right.
Like, who was calling the shots?
Big question.
And the carvings themselves are another puzzle.
So detailed.
Incredibly detailed.
All sorts of animals.
Yeah, foxes, snakes,
Yeah.
lions, birds, you name it. It's like a zoo up there.
Were they religious symbols, clan totems, or something else entirely?
It's like deciphering a secret code from the dawn of civilization. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like they left us this message, but we don't know how to read it.
And that's what makes Göbekli Tepe so captivating. It's like looking through a window into a world we're only just beginning to understand.
A world that could rewrite the early chapters of human history as we know it. Okay, so Göbekli Tepe has blown our minds. Now, how about we dive into one of history's most enduring mysteries, the legend of Atlantis.
Ah, Atlantis. The lost city swallowed by the sea.
The story that has captivated imaginations for millennia.
It's like a siren song. It just draws you in.
It all started with Plato, the Greek philosopher.
Of course.
He wrote about this amazingly advanced island civilization somewhere in the Atlantic. According to him, Atlantis was a naval superpower, technologically superior to every other civilization.
Wow.
But then they got a little too big for their britches,
Became corrupt and power-hungry.
Yeah, exactly. As punishment, the gods sent a cataclysmic event.
That sank the entire island.
Oof, gone in a single day and night.
It's a cautionary tale about hubris, the dangers of unchecked ambition.
Right.
But what if? What if?
There's a grain of truth hidden within the myth.
Ooh. I like where you're going with this.
What if there was a real Atlantis?
Or at least something that inspired the legend.
Exactly. Over the centuries, people have been searching high and low for evidence,
Combing through ancient texts, scouring the ocean floor.
proposing all sorts of theories about its possible location.
And some of them are pretty compelling, like Santorini,
The Greek island?
with that stunning caldera. That large volcanic crater formed by a massive eruption.
Right, it's one of the largest in the world.
Did you know that it measures about 7.5 miles across?
Wow.
It's impressive. Santorini was once home to the Minoan civilization.
A highly advanced culture that thrived around 1600 BC.
They had a written language, elaborate palaces, and were amazing seafarers.
But then, boom, a massive volcanic eruption.
Sending tsunamis across the Mediterranean.
And devastating the Minoan civilization.
Some scholars believe this cataclysmic event might have been the inspiration for Plato's Atlantis.
It's a dramatic story for sure. It is. And there are other candidates too, like the rich structure in Mauritania, also known as the Eye of the Sahara.
The Eye of the Sahara, I've heard of that.
This massive circular formation is so huge it can be seen from space.
Seriously?
Some believe it could be the remnants of a sunken city.
Wow.
And then there's the Bimini Road, an underwater formation off the coast of the Bahamas.
Right?
It's a series of large rectangular stones that some people think might be man-made.
Like a road or part of a harbor from a lost civilization?
Exactly. It's like we're trying to piece together this giant jigsaw puzzle.
With pieces scattered across the globe.
And lost to time. What's fascinating is that even with all our modern technology, like sonar scans, we're still searching for definitive answers.
Who knows what secrets might be hidden beneath the waves?
Just waiting to be discovered.
Discoveries that could rewrite our understanding of history.
Pushing back the timeline of civilization even further.
Or revealing connections between cultures that we never suspected.
Okay, so we've got Göbekli Tepe and the potential for Atlantis. Now buckle up, because it's about to get even more mind-blowing.
More mind-blowing than Atlantis.
Oh yeah. What if there's even more out there?
Like what?
Entire civilizations that have been erased from history.
Erase. Completely.
It's like a giant historical cover-up. Like someone went through and just deleted entire chapters from the book of history.
That raises some really important questions about how we understand history.
Right.
Who decides what gets included in the history books?
Yeah.
What happens to discoveries that just don't fit the accepted narrative?
Exactly. Like, what if there are things they don't want us to know?
That's like a conspiracy theory.
But what if it's true? And let's not forget about the Tartarian Empire.
The Tartarian Empire.
Which has become a really popular topic among history enthusiasts.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's this theory that there was once a vast, technologically advanced empire that spanned across Eurasia.
Across Eurasia.
Wow. But it was deliberately wiped from the history books.
That's a bold claim.
It is. And while mainstream historians haven't found any credible evidence to support it,
Okay.
it seems to stem from a misinterpretation of existing historical data,
Right.
fueled by this desire for alternative narratives.
People like a good mystery.
They do. But even if the Tartarian Empire isn't real,
It makes you think.
it does. What if there are other discoveries out there that have been ignored or dismissed simply because they don't fit the timeline that we've come to accept?
Right. Like we're so set in our ways.
Exactly. And speaking of challenging what we think we know,
Yeah.
let's take a quick detour to ancient Sumeria.
The first known civilization.
Emerging in Mesopotamia around 5000 BC, and their knowledge of astronomy was astonishing.
Astonishing. How so?
They knew about planets beyond Saturn, they had detailed star charts,
Wow.
and they even described this mysterious planet called Nibiru.
Nibiru. I've heard of that. What is that?
Oh, that's a whole other deep dive.
Eh.
But the point is, modern researchers have been able to verify the accuracy of many of their astronomical observations.
So they were right.
Yeah, but how did they know all this? It's as if they had access to information that we're only rediscovering now.
Like they were ahead of their time.
Way ahead. And they weren't the only ones. Let's talk about those megalithic structures.
Like Puma Punku in Bolivia.
Yes, Namadol in Micronesia. And, of course, the Great Pyramids of Egypt.
Those are incredible.
Massive stones, some weighing hundreds of tons, cut, transported, and fitted together with unbelievable precision.
How did they do it?
That's the million-dollar question.
Uh,
Continues to baffle researchers.
I bet the precision cuts in Puma Punku are mind-boggling.
I know. They're so precise, it defies explanation, even with our modern tools.
Right.
Were there lost building techniques at play?
Right.
Did they have access to technology that we've just forgotten?
It's incredible.
Some researchers have proposed theories about sound-based levitation or even the use of some kind of lost advanced technology.
Sound-based levitation. Now that's something I'd like to see.
Right. It's like something out of science fiction. But hey, maybe science fiction is closer to reality than we think.
Maybe. All right, one last mind-boggling possibility before we wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay, hit me with it.
Ancient flying machines.
Ancient flying machines.
You're kidding, right?
Nope. The Vimanas described in ancient Hindu texts.
Okay, I've heard of those.
They were supposedly flying chariots, capable of incredible speeds and maneuvers.
Like spaceships.
Not quite spaceships, but definitely flying machines.
So are these descriptions just mythology, or could there be something more to them?
Well, most mainstream scholars interpret these texts as symbolic or mythological, but who knows? Maybe one day we'll uncover evidence that proves otherwise.
And that's what makes exploring lost civilizations and suppressed history so exciting.
Absolutely.
There's always the possibility of uncovering something that changes everything we thought we knew.
It's like we're piecing together this giant puzzle of history, but some of the pieces are missing. Or maybe we're just not looking at them the right way. And those missing pieces could hold the key to, understanding our own origins and our place in the universe. Like, where do we really come from? What's our real story?
Absolutely. And, we keep coming back to this idea of suppression.
Right.
It's like a recurring theme in a lot of these alternative history theories.
Yeah, like there's this secret group controlling everything and keeping the truth from us.
Right. It suggests that there are powerful institutions or individuals that are deliberately hiding the truth.
Like they've got something to gain by keeping us in the dark.
Right. It's almost like a scene from a movie,
Yeah. Like those secret vaults in the Smithsonian filled with giant skeletons and ancient tech.
Right. Or Area 51.
Oh, yeah. Area 51. Definitely aliens there.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But seriously, while it's healthy to be skeptical of authority and question the narratives we're given, you have to be careful. You can't just believe everything you hear.
Especially on the internet.
Exactly. We need to approach these claims with a critical eye.
Like a detective.
Exactly. We need to ask ourselves, what's the evidence? Who are the sources making these claims? And what might their motivations be?
Right. Like, are they just trying to sell us something, or are they genuinely trying to uncover the truth?
Exactly. And while some claims about suppressed evidence just haven't been substantiated,
Right.
there are cases where artifacts have been misinterpreted or mislabeled or even lost within vast museum collections.
So it's not always intentional.
Right. Sometimes new research sheds light on old discoveries, leading to reinterpretations and revisions of our understanding of the past.
So history is always being updated.
It's a living, breathing thing. It's constantly being rewritten as we uncover new evidence and develop new technologies to analyze it.
That's what makes this field so exciting. It's a never-ending quest for knowledge and understanding.
Exactly, and it keeps us on our toes.
Okay, so we've entertained some pretty mind-blowing possibilities.
From ancient astronomical knowledge to lost technologies and suppressed history.
Yeah, we've gone deep down the rabbit hole. But what does it all mean for us today? What can we take away from all of this?
I think one of the most important takeaways is that we should always question what we think we know.
Like, don't take anything for granted.
Exactly. History isn't set in stone. It's a fluid and evolving narrative.
So we should be open to new discoveries and new interpretations.
Absolutely. Who knows what the future holds in terms of uncovering the secrets of the past?
Maybe we'll find Atlantis.
Maybe. Or maybe something even more incredible. And I think it's also crucial to recognize that our understanding of history is shaped by our present.
Like our own biases and perspectives.
Exactly. The questions we ask, the methods we use, and the conclusions we draw are all influenced by our cultural biases and perspectives.
So we need to be aware of that.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to have diverse voices and perspectives in archaeology and history.
Like people from different backgrounds and cultures.
Right. We need people to challenge our assumptions and help us see the past in a new light.
Because ultimately studying history is about understanding ourselves.
It's about exploring the roots of our cultures, our beliefs, our values.
It's about connecting with those who came before us and learning from their successes and their mistakes.
And who knows? Maybe we'll even uncover some secrets that could change the world as we know it.
Now that would be a deep dive.
That's what keeps us going.
So we've covered a lot of ground, but there's always more to explore.
Right.
And that's what's so captivating about this topic. It's like a rabbit hole that just keeps going deeper and deeper.
And who knows what wonders we might discover along the way. Perhaps a whole new understanding of our past.
Or even a glimpse into our future.
Exactly.
Okay. That wraps up part 2 of our deep dive into lost civilizations and suppressed history. We journeyed from Göbekli Tepe to Atlantis, discussed the Tartarian Empire and Sumerian knowledge.
Pondered megalithic structures and even entertained the possibility of ancient flying machines.
We explored the concept of suppressed evidence and emphasized the importance of critical thinking when evaluating alternative history theories.
And we highlighted the importance of diverse voices and perspectives in shaping our understanding of the past.
But we're not done yet. In Part 3, we'll be diving into some listener questions and exploring even more fascinating and mind-bending possibilities. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into lost civilizations and suppressed history. We've journeyed through time, explored ancient mysteries, and challenged conventional thinking about our past.
It's been an incredible exploration, hasn't it?
It really has. From Göbekli Tepe to Atlantis and everything in between.
So many mind-boggling possibilities.
Yeah. And now it's time to shift gears a bit and tackle some of those listener questions.
Oh, I love listener questions.
You guys always come up with the most thought-provoking queries, and I can't wait to see what we uncover together.
I'm ready. Let's dive in.
All right. Our first question comes from Sarah in California. Sarah asks, if advanced civilizations existed in the distant past, why did they leave behind more obvious evidence like technology or infrastructure? Great question, Sarah.
It's a question that's puzzled researchers for ages.
It really has. Like, you'd think there'd be more to go on.
Right. Well, we have to consider the immense scale of time that we're talking about.
Right.
And the forces of nature. Imagine all the cities, monuments, and artifacts that have been lost to erosion, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and even simple decay over thousands of years.
Yeah, it's like nature has a way of reclaiming everything eventually.
Exactly. It's entirely possible that much of the evidence is simply gone, erased by time.
That makes sense. And think about the materials they might have used.
Right.
Like if they built with wood or other organic materials, that stuff would have decomposed ages ago.
Leaving little or no trace.
It's those sturdy stone structures that have the best chance of surviving.
Right. And even then, we might be missing things.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, what if their technology was so different from ours that we don't even recognize it as technology?
Like, we're looking for something familiar, but it's totally alien to us.
Exactly. What we consider advanced could be so vastly different from our own framework that we wouldn't even know what we were looking at.
It's like trying to understand a smartphone with the mindset of a caveman.
Right. They might see it as a shiny rock or something.
Not realizing the power it holds.
Exactly. And then there's always the possibility that some evidence has been intentionally destroyed or suppressed throughout history.
Ooh, the conspiracy.
Right. Whether for religious or political reasons, or maybe just someone wanting to keep a secret.
It's happened before.
It definitely has.
Mm.
Okay, what's the next question?
Okay, next up we have John from New York. John asks, what about all those ancient myths and legends that talk about giants, dragons, and other fantastical creatures? Could those be based on real encounters with beings or creatures that we just don't understand anymore?
The mysteries of myth and legend. Always a fun topic.
It's like our ancestors were trying to tell us something, but we're not sure what.
It's important to remember that myths serve many purposes.
Right.
They can explain natural phenomena, teach moral lessons, or just entertain.
Like campfire stories.
Exactly. But they can also contain a grain of truth.
Or at least reflect real events or beliefs that have been embellished over time.
Right, like a game of historical telephone.
Yeah. So while we might not take every mythical creature literally, it's worth considering what these stories tell us about how ancient cultures saw the world.
Right, like those giant myths that pop up all over the world.
Maybe they were onto something.
Perhaps they stumbled upon fossils of dinosaurs or other extinct megafauna.
And they tried to make sense of these giant skeletons with their limited understanding of the world.
Exactly. Or maybe these myths tap into a deeper human fascination.
With the idea of beings bigger than us, more powerful than us.
Right. It's a theme that resonates across cultures and time.
It's like we're hardwired to believe in something greater than ourselves.
Perhaps. Okay, we have time for one more question.
All right. And for our final question, we have Maria from Spain. Maria asks, what do you think is the most important lesson we can learn from studying lost civilizations and suppressed history? Wow, that's a deep one, Maria.
It really is.
Like, what's the takeaway from all of this?
I think the most important lesson is humility.
Humility.
Yes, it reminds us that we're not the center of the universe.
Right.
That we're not the only ones who've walked this planet, and that we don't have all the answers.
Like we're just a small part of a much bigger story.
Exactly. Our understanding of the past is always evolving.
There's always something new to discover.
And new discoveries can turn everything we thought we knew upside down.
So it's about being open-minded and questioning everything.
Consider different perspectives. Be skeptical, but also be open to new possibilities.
Because the more we learn about the past, the more we realize how much we don't know.
And that's what makes it so exciting. It's a never-ending journey of discovery.
And who knows what incredible revelations await us just around the corner.
Exactly. Maybe we'll finally uncover the truth about Atlantis.
Or find evidence of those ancient flying machines.
Or maybe something even more amazing that we haven't even thought of yet.
The possibilities are endless. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into lost civilizations and suppressed history. We hope you enjoyed exploring these mind-boggling possibilities with us.
It's been a wild ride.
It really has. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my Mind Mashups for more intriguing deep dives. You can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, Facebook, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and YouTube.
And remember, keep those minds mashing.
Until next time, keep exploring and never stop questioning.